It must be a cold day in hell, according to the words of Triple H. The TSK is doing it without your boy today, but it's okay. They're covering all of Survivor Series. And on top of that, that guy came back. We're covering it all. It's time to kick it with the TSK. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, as you can see, I am not Mo. They call me Big Rob. I am joined here with Daniel Crimmins, DC, and we've got the OG Harold, Joseph Hunter III. We are the TSK, and you're here kicking it with us. Yeah. Fresh off Survivor Series 2023 in Chicago. Boys, what a show.
So, what do you want to talk about?
Hey.
Well, we've got a few things to talk about, so we'll start from the top. So we started with the women's war game match. There was a lot going into this. We had the face team of Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Shotzi, and Becky Lynch. Some turmoil amongst that team versus Damage Control. We had Bayley, Asuka, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane with Dakota Kai out there. Now, I don't know what you guys thought about this match, but I, for one, I'm glad that the women are getting a legit storyline to
Absolutely.
Kind of see the way Damage Control has been kind of running things since SummerSlam of last year. And now we kind of got this little implosion kind of going in where, we see them kind of turning on Bayley. What do you guys think about this? What did you guys think about the match?
Honestly, typically, as seems to be the norm with these, I thought the women's war games outshines the men's war games almost ever since they've been doing them.
From what I saw of it, because I was punching it down the 22 freeway getting home from work. I think I'll agree with you. I from what I saw, I thought it looked pretty good.
And I will say, for me, Shotzi has really stepped it up. Like, she has gotten a lot better.
She has definitely come along. I know when she first came onto the main roster, she was kind of stuck in this like weird kind of just weird space of like not doing anything. We'd see her for weeks at a time. She'd come out and kind of job for somebody once in a while, and
don't forget the Twitter comments.
The Twitter comments did not help her.
I thought she was floundering for a while. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad to see that she's kind of turned that around and that it's not really affecting her.
Yeah, I think definitely this whole gimmick change, I know kind of integrating her personal life with her sister having cancer and her shaving her head. That was definitely a saving grace for her. I think this is definitely a turnaround for her.
I almost wonder if part of the issue was Vince. Vince is like that old school. I think Vince looks at somebody like a Shotzi and doesn't know doesn't know what to do with her.
Yeah.
He sees the tattoos, which, you say Undertaker knew how to, well, that's Undertaker. That's, Randy, people like that. You don't typically see that on the women's roster.
That's true.
Typically. Yep. And I think Vince is like, I don't get it, pal. I don't get it.
That's true. I would definitely say, for watching this women's War Games match, you can tell the difference of the booking between Triple H and Vince. Triple H, I think, because the majority of these ladies, if not all of them, actually all of them, have gone through NXT and have come up through that. So Triple H, I think, has a better understanding of what to do. Hence why we got the match we got, and we're getting the storylines that we're getting, because this women's roster is top tier.
And it's so nice to see the women's wrestlers, and goes beyond even just the women in this match, but to see the women's roster getting actual meaningful stories, except for like 1 month stories just for the title matches.
Exactly.
It's a breath of fresh air.
It's really exciting for me personally. I'm a big fan of the Japanese stable so far. I don't know if you guys remember in Lucha Underground, the Black Lotus Triad. That was, I think that was Io, Mayu Iwatani, and Kairi Sane, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, it's kind of cool to kind of see that come to fruition in WWE. And, I trust that Hunter is going to do something really cool with Damage Control.
Absolutely. And, it's you almost wonder, because it looks like they're going to turn Bayley face again. And what do you do with her then? Like,
she's done an amazing job as a heel. I am pretty shocked to say. Yeah, she's actually done a really good job as a heel.
I remember when it started, like when she first turned heel, I kind of thought, like, really? Like,
yeah.
Like she was always the hugger. Like that's who she was.
I think that's because that's how we knew her. But she definitely showed us.
Oh yeah.
She almost feels more natural as a heel. In a way, I almost kind of forgot that Bayley was the face hugger for so long.
If she turns face again, as long as she keeps making fun of Michael Cole, I don't care what the match is. I don't care.
Amen.
Hey, Bailey, how you doing? Awesome. Good to see you back.
Speaking of amen, Gunther and The Miz. Now, when this match was announced, I'll be honest, I was just kind of like, oh, Gunther is going to beat this boy silly in about 3 minutes. And to be honest, I think Miz got in a lot of offense, way more than he probably should have. But for what it was worth, for the 12 minutes and 20 seconds, this was actually a pretty decent match. I know we know Miz is kind of a clown, not much of a wrestler. He's more of the entertainment side of things. Yeah. But he actually held his own against, the Ring General. What do you guys think about it?
Absolutely. And, I think the build up to this match was really entertaining. Like, you had Gunther saying, you're a funny guy. You're an entertainer. You're not taking this seriously. And you had Miz saying, well, I can be serious when I want to be.
Right.
And I think that was definitely evident in this match because it showed that Miz could actually step up and do something.
He came to play.
Like I said, he got in a lot more offense that I think he needed to get in. But for what it was worth, this was actually a pretty solid match. And, I wouldn't mind this, kind of running it back again.
Yeah.
Because you've got Miz who, did wonders for the Intercontinental title. We know what he did for that title. Compared to what Gunther's doing now, like you can get a really good story out of this, I think.
Oh yeah.
And there's rumors of doing a Miz and DIY versus Imperium storyline. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but as far as tonight, Miz came to play.
He definitely did. I like what you did there.
Yeah.
You know who else came to play? Dragon Lee. So Dragon Lee in for Carlito. I'm not too sure what happened to Carlito, if they did an injury angle. I'm a bit behind on the SmackDown side of things, but Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee. This match was way too short.
Oh yeah.
7 minutes and 40 seconds. These boys were just getting started.
Exactly.
It was an appetizer.
It really was. And I'm kind of mad about it, and I sent my steak back to the kitchen because I wanted more.
I feel like Survivor Series is the wrong time to do a teaser match. As good as a tease as it was, Survivor Series is the time to deliver. So I feel like maybe they under-delivered at this point, and I don't know if that's going to hurt the feud going into it.
What they should have done, and I think this honestly would have made more sense, have them both come out in their gear, but as Dragon Lee's taking his gear off and he's getting ready, just have Santos just attack him, take him down, so the match never takes place.
I think that might have been better than what we got because, like I said,
and
I know for those of us that know Dragon Lee and what he can do, and we know what Santos can do, like this was just like, come on, what the hell? These guys are just getting started, and you're going to end it like that? Come on.
Yeah. I completely agree.
But you know what, though? The women, I think, definitely shine tonight because we had Rhea Ripley and Zoe Stark. And holy crap. I mean, they didn't get much more time than Escobar and Dragon Lee, but what they got, I think they definitely delivered. You kind of know this was going to be a bit of a slobber knocker. You with Rhea and Zoe, both heavy hitters and just very sound in the ring and what they're capable of doing.
Yeah, I feel like Zoe is one of those talents who you don't realize is a veteran at this point and really has much more ring knowledge than they portray in their, I say, Showtime to Showtime appearances. But she's really solid at sticking where she's at.
That's kind of what I thought when I was watching this match too. You can definitely see in this match, like the veteran mind of Zoe. Working with somebody like Rhea who definitely knows what she's doing. There was a lot of really cool spots. A lot of like the weird like sentons that Zoe was doing. These two had really good chemistry, and as much as I hope for some more time, I hope they can run this one back too.
Yeah, and I think more so when Zoe won the number one contender thing, people are like, oh, throwaway match, like why?
Right.
And
exactly.
I think what this match did, it showed, hey, Zoe's not a throwaway talent. Like, I remember when they brought her up to the main roster, people thought, her? Why? Like, you weren't seeing her on NXT on a regular basis. And, you thought it was going to be like another Xia Li situation or Aaliyah when they had brought her up. Like, they would use her sparingly, and then eventually, they were going to say, bye. But in the time she has been up, she's really been phenomenal.
I feel like her injuries kind of dampened her run a bit, her push a bit. Yeah.
I think she definitely has some potential, and I think they see it as well because they've been putting her in these situations where she can show that she's more than just a throwaway, that she's more than just somebody who's going to be brought up and forgotten about, like some have been.
Yeah.
Like most of them.
Unfortunately. Speaking of unfortunately, because we're going through this kind of quick, because we've got a big thing to talk about at the end here. So this episode is probably not going to be the longest episode ever.
That's what she said.
But let's talk about this men's War Games match.
So what do you want to talk about?
So on one side, we had Cody Rhodes, Seth freaking Rollins, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and the returning Randy Orton versus Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre. What a match.
You know, and I'll
What
say
a time to return.
there were so many subtleties that we got in this match. Like so many teases for future storylines. You know, we got. I eventually think we're gonna get a Drew versus Damian Priest storyline. Because, you know,
Beautiful.
we had, when Priest entered the match, you know, you had Drew kind of step out and you had Priest just kind of push him back and just say, stick to the plan. We're not doing this right now.
Even when they all walked out, Judgment Day walked out as a unit, and they just kind of stared down Drew there, like, you know, they pulled up, like, what's up? Like, say something.
Right.
We got the story there. And it's almost as if they copied the Full Gear Kenny Omega spot. You know, you see Orton do the typical, you know, the Viper coiling pose, you know, and you think he's going to do it. And then you just see him turn to Jey Uso and you think, I knew he was going to turn. So we know Orton's going to turn eventually, probably by next week. He'll have turned.
Hey, I mean, if he hasn't turned on the press conference, you know.
I swear the man turns heel and face almost as much as Big Show.
Yikes.
He's reached that status at this point.
He's definitely reached that status at this point.
But can we all just agree that Orton looked big?
My God, that boy looked jacked.
And say it with me. Beefcake.
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 He looks really good.
He's been in the gym.
Yeah, definitely glad to see him back, and he definitely put on some muscle. He looks really good.
And the reaction.
Good for him.
The reaction was...
That was definitely something. The Jay and Randy story, that's going to be something.
That's going to pay off.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to say that I was not an Orton fan for a very long time. It took me a while to warm up to Orton and his gimmick, what he brings to the table. Very glad to see him back.
Absolutely. And
yeah, there's definitely something to that, because I'll kind of agree with you, because I think there was a point in time in his career where he just got lazy.
Yeah.
He was just very lackadaisical, just kind of going through the motions.
He was a made man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Definitely.
I think you could tell when he came out there, you know, honestly, I would compare it to when Edge came back in 2020. Because you remember, they were saying for the longest time that Orton wasn't coming back.
That's true. He was out 18 months.
Yeah.
You could tell, like, when Orton came on and was looking at the crowd, like, he did a better job of hiding it than Edge did.
Way better.
But you could tell Orton's just like, they haven't forgotten.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in the wrestling world,
sure.
in the wrestling world, 18 months is a long time to be gone.
It's a very long time.
Yeah.
It's almost like a lifetime.
It might as well be.
Yep.
But I mean, he looked fantastic in the ring too. He hit all his spots. He hit the draping DDT pretty well.
The RKO to McDonough.
I mean, that poor boy is probably still, you know, passed out in the middle of the ring, unfortunately. That was a heck of a finish. I mean, I can't imagine that conversation. Hey, McDonough, you know, we're gonna throw you 15 feet in the air and just throw you into Randy's waiting arms. That's the finish.
I got to imagine when they're sitting down in the production meeting today, and they probably went to, and he probably said, "So, fellas, what's the finish?" And they're like, "Yeah, about that. You're gonna take the RKO for the finish." And he probably thought, "Okay, standard."
No problem.
And they said, "Well, actually, it's not necessarily standard. You're gonna get yeeted off the top of a cage."
We're gonna have Jay and Sammy yeet you about 15, 20 feet.
It kind of reminded me, if you guys remember years back, the Evan Bourne RKO.
Yeah, that was the shooting star press into
Yep.
the arc. Yeah,
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
even the Seth Rollins Mania 31 RKO.
yeah. I remember watching that one live, and that one was just like, whoa. You can definitely make a highlight reel on just those RKOs. We got a cash in tease too, which was kind of interesting. I
Yeah.
know we were talking about this before we got started here. So before Randy comes out, Rhea comes bolting down to the ring with the briefcase, and we're kind of thinking, oh, we're gonna get a cash in.
Like, how's this going to work?
How's this actually gonna work? Randy's not in the ring yet. The match is not official. Does this make the match official? Does this, make it a second match? Like, what's going on here? And then Randy finally comes out. But I think that would have been an interesting dynamic had
Yeah.
they would have done the cash in. That would have
Right.
opened up a whole new set of variables.
I thought it was weird that he didn't come out with the case. I thought that would have made more sense to have the case already there.
That's true, and I know they've been playing it up for the last couple of months or whatever. That they're not going to do the cash. Oh, we haven't do the cash. No, don't do the cash in. They've been really kind of selling this whole cash in thing, which is kind of interesting.
I gotta think that eventually when Priest turns face, and eventually, when he does, he's gonna be probably one of the biggest baby faces they've got.
If they do it right.
if
Exactly.
they do it right.
I think what's gonna eventually do it, the catalyst, Judgment Day is gonna cost him the Money in the Bank somehow. Whether he cashes in and they cost him the match, or he loses the briefcase entirely.
It's true. I mean,
If they bring Bad Bunny back, which is rumored for a future WrestleMania or just WWE PPV in general, I could see Priest going in as a face with Bad Bunny on his side, or a tag match, easy tag match against a Miz and somebody else, or you know what I mean, easy babyface spot.
That would definitely be kind of cool. It's funny that you brought up bringing people back. The grand finale here that we want to talk about. So the faces are celebrating. Everybody's, we won the match. About 2 minutes before the broadcast cuts off, Cult of Personality starts playing. We have the return of CM Punk back to WWE. Boys, what do we think about it?
Called it.
I can't believe it.
Called it.
DC
Daniel
called
Crimmins.
it.
Daniel Crimmins.
Since day one, DC called it.
Since fucking Wembley. Actually, I'll even go further back, since All Out last year.
That's true. You definitely did say that this would eventually lead him back to WWE, and lo and behold, we didn't think it would be this soon. It did.
Soon.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Oh, man. See, I can't even get mad at you for saying that anymore.
Right?
But Cult of Personality hits. The whole men's War Games just became an afterthought. CM Punk comes out. He does his clobbering time. Just starts walking around the ring doing his thing. For the sake of Anthony Jarvis Khan, I hope somebody put his phone away tonight. Because we definitely
kept the Thunder Snow away from him.
We definitely don't need him tweeting tonight, tomorrow, for the rest of the week.
Better take the rest of the year off.
I mean, at this point in time, I think that would be the best idea.
Yeah. And can we just say, the moment, the fan that was hugging Punk just had a look that just says, okay, let me go. Get rid of me. Don't touch me.
Yeah, we saw the CM Punk that we've all known to come and hate.
And the thing of it is, it's I gotta wonder. It's like, okay, he's back. Cool. It was, that kind of cool moment. Like, okay, loud reaction, great. What's the over under on him doing something? Or
we talked about this before we started.
do you think that they had a talk and they said, look, one screw up and you're done?
But my thinking is this. Everybody's wondering, what is the conditions that WWE took him back on?
Because there were conditions.
There were conditions, for sure. My thing is this. If I am in WWE Creative, I'm wondering, beyond proving that you can be somebody that can work with other people, somebody that can work with the WWE storyline, what is the point of you being here?
Yeah.
What is the point of you being back? We've seen you wrestle. We've seen you wrestle in AEW.
And get hurt.
Wrestle in WWE.
And get hurt.
We've seen you get hurt. We've seen you get hurt multiple times. We've seen you get in backstage altercations multiple times. What other than proving that you can coexist with everybody do you bring to the table?
Man,
Shock?
I just want to see him try and start shit with Gunther. Just to see Gunther just fucking chop him.
It's definitely going to be interesting.
I can hear that chop right now.
Yeah, the thunderous slapping of flesh on chest.
In AEW, he was able to prove
that he could still go.
Could keep up with a modern talent. Like you said, he could still go. In WWE, what is he proving?
He came back out of spite.
Yeah, that's all it was.
It really
he came back as a fuck you to Tony Khan, and we all know it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's even parts of me that kind of think that this was his agenda the whole time. To get back to WWE. And that AEW was a stepping stone.
If you think back about a year ago, after All Out happened, and he showed up randomly at a Raw, I think it was Raw, in the Allstate Arena. And it said that he met with Triple H. I think what he was doing was sending out feelers to see if it would be, if there was interest. And, maybe, I don't know, maybe you do something like NXT-wise with the Performance Center. I don't know. But, and like I said months ago, if this was the old way, if this was the old days with Vince in charge, I don't think he'd be back. But with ever since the Sale and TKO in charge, I got to imagine Ari Emanuel said, do it. And I think and if Ari Emanuel tells them, sign this person, you do it.
They're going to do it.
Okay, on that note, do you think... Damn, I don't even know how to ask this, because on one hand I want to ask, do you think Ari Emanuel thinks Punk is going to pull in the ratings? Or do you think this is just a logistic issue where pulling somebody from AEW is the draw in that
I think
situation?
it's a bit of both.
Yeah, okay. I would say definitely a little bit of both.
And I think also it's a bit of a spite because look at it this way. AEW takes Edge. WWE takes CM Punk. It's like okay, you took one of your guys, we're going to take one of yours. It's spite. It's exactly how things were done back in the WCW days, in the WWE days. It's just like that. Nothing's
Who
changed.
is up at this point, in your opinion?
I got to think the next one to jump ship is going to be Drew. I think
There's always potential for that.
Drew McIntyre is leaving when his contract is up. You know, the last that I
Really?
heard, I read a story today said that he's ready to let his contract go, and that he's ready to have time off to be with his family, to be able to, go home to
Mm,
Scotland every so often, be able to see his family there, because he's only been able to go there when WWE is on tour in Europe. And how that's only 2 or 3 times a
Two,
year,
three times a year.
and he's only able to be there for like 2 or 3 days.
yeah.
Now, Harold, if that were you and your family was in another country, say in England, Scotland, wherever, and you can only see them 2 or 3 times a year for a day or two each time, wouldn't you get a little burned out? But
Oh, yeah.
I think Tony Khan, I would fully expect Tony Khan to make Drew a deal and just say, hey, this is what we'll offer you, X amount of dates. They don't have live events. So you're talking like 4, maybe 5, 6 days a year.
And he can go back to IWC. He can go do all those independents as well.
Exactly.
Um, I kind of wanted to ask you guys, with CM Punk being back, what does this mean for people like Cody, who's still trying to finish the story? Seth Rollins, who's got a belt that he may not be holding on to for much
And
longer,
doesn't like Punk.
and doesn't like Punk.
Seth doesn't like Punk. Seth's got a title that nobody gives a shit about at this point. And it's not because nobody can give a shit about it. It's because it's
Roman.
made to not give a shit
And
about in
Roman.
this instance. Roman, Punk fucks, in my opinion, Punk fucks Seth. Punk fucks Cody.
Sammy.
Sammy.
Jay.
Roman's okay. Jay.
If you're
For
on Raw,
sure.
you're fucked.
Yeah, Jay is completely fucked.
Yeah, Jay
I'm
might as well
glad you
go
brought
back
that
to Jay might as well go back to Jimmy at this point.
Or NXT. NXT could always use a couple good people.
Jeez.
Jay is back down to under Cody level of importance.
May as
Cody
well
is here.
May as well get that tag team with Cody back together.
Punk is up here. Yeah, Jay might as well go back to Cody because there's no opportunity.
Well, another thing to consider, and we've all seen the reports of how banged up Rollins really is.
It's true.
That's true.
And it's really starting to show that you can tell Homeboy's in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
So then, do you have him drop the title, take some time off to recover, now that you've got somebody like a CM Punk back? And to which I would say, don't put the title on CM Punk, because remember what happened the last couple times that they put a world title on Punk?
That's when those injuries come a calling. But knowing
Punk
Seth,
doesn't need a title.
No.
He doesn't though. Seth is. I don't think he's going to take the time off though. He's definitely going to push through to WrestleMania. The big WrestleMania match right now is probably going to be Seth versus Punk.
Oh yeah.
Not unless Punk totally screws Cody and we get Roman versus Punk.
Who would Cody get if you were doing Seth and Punk?
Have him go for the NXT title. Have him go against Baron Corbin.
Oh man, that's a whole new chapter in the
He
story.
can finish that story.
What does Punk mean for AEW at this point?
If if you saw the comments on the WWE press conference video, AEW is going to go out of business tomorrow.
But I guess what does it mean for the talent in AEW? Because Punk did have some supporters over there. What does that mean for them now? Does WWE become a more viable option for them when their contracts are up in AEW? Those guys like Ricky Starks, FTR, the majority of House of Black.
I think what this does, it means that everything's in play. And we still don't have confirmation about MJF. The sources are saying, I know Nick Houseman said, he's resigned.
Houseman is a Punk guy.
Didn't Houseman also say that CM Punk wasn't going to be fired from AEW?
Houseman is a Punk guy, so I don't believe anything he says.
So at this point, the only people that really know what MJF is going to do is a guy by the name of MJF.
Basically.
But I think what this does is, and honestly, as a wrestling fan, this excites me because it means that anything can happen. With Edge showing up in AEW, we were all pretty sure that was probably going to happen. I mean, I saw Punk coming in. I didn't necessarily think it was going to be tonight. I was thinking, well, if anything, Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
But this, now, I think anybody's in play. Anybody. So I'm wondering if maybe Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews, if they try and say, we're out, I think maybe they get Brody King to leave as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, with AEW, Julia Hart doesn't need House of Black anymore.
Yeah.
At this point,
I
not.
I will say, and this will be to the chagrin to much of our followers here, if you're out there listening, I think this is it for AEW, to be honest with you. WWE has come to a point where they're not only profitable on paper, they can deliver to talent as far as TV goes, as far as pay-per-views go, as far as storylines. They've got the TV network time, they've got the PPV time, they've got the funds to take, and they've got the creative pressure from Triple H to push what needs to be pushed into the wrestling world. And I don't think there's really a need for AEW anymore at this point. With the talent, they can all jump over, get exactly what they're getting now, and get longevity from the WWE name.
And I think more to what you're saying,
that's
what
a
does
hot
this
ass
also
take,
mean?
player.
Hot ass take.
What does this also mean for guys, like you said, guys like a Ricky Starks? Hell, do we get one better? Guys like a Sammy Guevara. Does, you look at somebody like Sammy, and you guys know I'm a Sammy guy. Does you look at a couple years ago, would somebody like a Sammy Guevara have ended up in WWE? I would have said not a chance in hell. NXT,
Right.
maybe. But now, like you said, and like I said, everything's in play. Nothing is off the table. I think what Tony Khan needs to do, go to places like New Japan. Go to Impact. Hell, bring in Billy Corgan. Make an alliance.
Production, how much time do we have left? I've always wanted to say that.
Yeah, we're touching many different storylines.
Like I said, everything's in play at this point.
I think tonight was definitely a night that is going to set the precedent for not only the rest of this year but going into next year.
Shots
It
have
might
been
have
fired.
changed everything.
It
Shots have been fired.
definitely changed everything.
And
And as much as I hate to admit it because I don't like the guy, this was definitely a game changer. This definitely may turn some things around for some people, and I guess we'll have to wait and see.
we're gonna have to watch Raw on Monday because you know how CM Punk is with the live microphone.
He's got some things to say.
He's gonna have some things to say.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Oh, but first, before we get out of here, I guess let's do some links and where you could find the gents of the TSK. Harold, what do you got for us, brother?
The two sweet click adventures. We got some food reviews. We got some event reviews. If you like Southern California things to do, check us out at Two Sweet Click Adventures. YouTube is where we're mainly hanging out at. You can also check us out on Instagram.
Ooh, Instagram. That's what I'm talking about. DC, what do you got for us?
As you know, I do the Uncaged show with Mike Larkin. We just recorded our second episode of the Cody Rhodes topic. We finished that story before Cody had a chance to do it.
Dang.
We do have a special episode coming up where I will discuss the great game that is AEW Fight Forever.
Oof.
I got some things to say on that fucking game.
Gosh.
I'm recording episode number 2 of my show, The Pile Driver Pundit, tomorrow. Tomorrow or Monday. So that's going to be forthcoming. I have a logo, too, that Mr. Kyle was kind enough to develop for me. So big things are coming.
We gotta get that guy back on here soon.
I know you were talking to him. You're talking about Kyle with your AEW comment there, Harold.
What can I say?
It'd be like that, but I also do a show with Mike Larkin. Mike Larkin is a busy MF.
Busy.
I do Black Hearts, Deep into the Heart of Wrestling, with Michael Larkin and my demon sister, Nicola McDonald. Check that out on Mike's YouTube. Any of my social media, any of my music, anything you want to check out that I'm doing, you hit me up at the Linktree / Hey It's Rob. And I think
Rob.
I think it's time we get up on out of here, boys. It's definitely past our bedtime. I know it's probably past your bedtime on the East Coast, Dan. So throw it up one time. Too sweet. Thank you for hanging out with the TSK. We will catch you around the bend.